That's easy. So, hi guys, my name is Nathaniel and I'm Giovanni's husband. So, I might not be as well articulated as my wife. She is well prepared. I have literally bullet points, just one line, and then I have to work on it because I'm very bad at planning. She can sit down, she thinks about things, and then she writes everything down. So I'm not like I'm like on the go. I'll just do it on the go. Anyway, so my name is Nathaniel, and I come from this a small town called Hyderabad, which has 7 million population just in the city, and in the metropolitan area, it's 9 million. So I was born there, and I'm 30 years old now. I'm the youngest in the room at the moment, and in my family as well. So I was born to this couple. My mom and my dad. My mom is a nurse, and my dad is a bank employee. So most of my life, when I bunked school, I either be in the hospital or in the bank. So, so I grew up in the hospital a lot, and then I grew up in the bank a lot. So I saw a lot of blood and money at the same time. So, um, so I kind of grew up there, and I did my schooling, and then I did my engineering, and then I worked in India for a couple of years. And then in 2019, January 7th, I moved to Dublin. So before that, a small story, because I wanted to go to Australia first. It did not happen. I wanted to go to US, gates were closed. And then I wanted to go to Canada, applications were closed. So, so when I applied for Dublin College, I had 7 loan rejections. So it was a kind of a miracle, as in I fell 7 times, because it's very frustrating. It's like when you apply for a loan, you have to do all the paperwork from the ground up, and then you get rejected. You go to another bank to do it all over again. Sorry. So I had 7 loan rejections, and no bank wanted me to, like, I mean, did not give me money. They did not want to give me money. So, but anyway, God has different plans. So I took help from my mom, and then I came here. So 7th of January, I landed here. And then I was in Dublin. I did my master's in Dublin in cybersecurity. So I went to a church called St. Mark's Church there. So I was part of that church for an year. And then I got a job after my master's. I lost the job during pandemic in 2020. It was a part-time job. I'll go into details in the next question. And then I moved to Cork in the middle of the pandemic, because I got a job in the middle of the pandemic. And I worked there for a year, and then in 21 February, I met my wife. So long story short, how did we meet? I was part of Cork Church in Cork, and then she was in Kilkenny. So we both have a mutual friend. So she met her in Summerfire, and then she used to go to Cork Church. So we both were friends. So one day, because we are not allowed to meet in person, we were meeting online for small groups. So she invited her, and then I was going to that small group. So somehow we ended up in the same small group Zoom call. So that's when I saw her, and then I was like, Zoom call, yeah, it was on Zoom, because we were not allowed to meet in person during pandemic. So that's when I saw her, and then I messaged her on Instagram with all the courage. And then before that, I actually asked my friend. Pardon?
Gift of faith.
It is, yes. But I before messaging her, I messaged my friend asking, is she single? Because I did not want to message her or take risk. So she said yes, and then that's it. So I messaged her, and then we started talking about movies and Jordan Peterson, and then the conversation went on. So in March the same year, so we had a conversation about, hey, your friend is in Cork, so whenever you come down to Cork, we can grab a lunch. That was my line. And then she said, she was like, why don't you come to Kilkenny? I'll go on a date with you. And I'm like, okay, okay, now that's a challenge. So I took my chances. So back then, I don't know if you remember that we had 5 kilometer radius restrictions. Yeah, and I was in Cork, she was in Kilkenny. It was like 200 kilometers, I think, or 175 something. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll see you. Then how will I see her? I have no idea. Never saw Kilkenny in my life, never been to Kilkenny in my life. I was in Cork, so one day the next day I Googled how do I get to Kilkenny. There are bus services early in the morning. So I booked the ticket, and then I broke the rule. I took the 6 a.m. bus, and I come and meet her. And then it was a horrible date anyway. I had a terrible headache because of the weather. But anyway, she saw through me, and then we are married now. And we're happily married now. So we're having a first child. So that's how we met. And then the story is quite interesting, and don't want to bore you with that. So the second question is, how did I get saved? I do not know the answer, because I was born into the Christian family just like Joanna did. But my mom, if you look at from my mom's side, I'm the 5th generation who is a Christian. And if you look from my dad's side, I'm I think 3rd or 4th generation. So I was always there in the Christian family. I always grew up around Christian values, Christian friendship, but I never understood. It was like, this is just life. It's like, you do this because you're a Christian, you do that because you're a Christian, you go to church because you're a Christian. So that's how I grew up. But as I started understanding, I can say that is when I was born, it seemed that I was born with a bulge on my head. So it's like as this, if my head was that big, the lump was the size of my head when the 3rd day I was born. And my mom and my parents were scared. And my aunt, my dad's sister, she's a very faithful person. So my mom and my aunt, they were praying over me. So the doctors were like, we need to take this bulge out, this kind of balloon structure out, because there's no skeleton, there's no skull here. It's like a skin, but there is a bulge out, it's like a second head or something. So he said, if it doesn't go on its own within 7 days, we have to operate it. And my mom was scared because I'm like, what, that day's baby? And then she said, the story goes on as in they were praying for me. They were praying and putting the hand on my head, and then my mom was praying. And one fine day when it seems that she usually early in the morning she puts hand on my head and she prays, and then she goes to work. And one day she just put her hand on my head, and then the size of that thing just shrunk down to a bottle cap overnight. There was nothing in the scan, and the doctors were shocked. And then the cartilage started to form again, and everything was on. So when I realized that, I think I can tell myself that day I got saved. It's scary. Anything could have happened. So that's how God started to work or protect me in every in that fine, like, how do I say that, in a very early stages of my life. So because I grew up in the Christian family, everything was normal. Everything was like an act. Not act. Yeah, I can say I call an act because I go to church. I meet friends because I'm a Christian. So because I'm a Christian, a nominal Christian. Can I put this here?
Yeah.
Speaking that sound. Okay. Because I was a nominal Christian, I used to do that. But in the first time when I felt God's presence in my heart was in, I think it's 2005 or 6, when I was like 9 or 10 years old. My mom had mastectomy, so she had breast cancer. So she had mastectomy. So I was in the hospital with her. I was smuggled by my aunt into the ICU because I was 11 years or 10 or 11 years old. Yes, because children under 12 or 13 years old are not allowed in the ICU. So in India, we wear saris, yeah. So the nurses were there, and my aunt put the sari like that. So I hid behind the sari, and then I kind of went into the ICU. And there I saw my mom with all the oxygen and the pipes and tubes and everything going around her. I never saw her like that. She's a very beautiful woman, but I never saw her like that. And my aunt was standing there and she was praying. She was the one who introduced me to Christ, actually. And she started praying over my mom. And then I was standing there. I still remember. I still have that picture in my head. I was like, Lord, I want my mom back home. That's all I said. And then I felt and I believed. And then I left the room. And my mom is safe and sound. She's great. She's free of cancer now. Praise God. It's all because of the Lord. It's a miracle. So that's when I think I gave my life to Christ in real sense. And then in 2010, one of my cousins, she introduced me to this church called New Life Assemblies of God Church. It's an American-based church. So in 2010, when I started going to that church, it's like it flipped the script of being a Christian. So that church had taught me what is it being a Christian, how your works are not the one which is going to save you. It's God who did it for you. So I started backtracking into my Christian, like traditional Christian values where I grew up, and then I started changing my life, and then I was going forward, changing, as in at the age of 15, I think I accepted the Christ as my personal Lord and Savior, and then I truly meant it, because without Him I cannot pass a day, to be honest. So that's how I got saved, and that's, to be honest, I didn't get saved at one point. I cannot put a finger and say this is when I got saved. I think I am saved every single day. I'm saved I was saved yesterday, and I'm saved today. That's my concept of being saved. I don't know, I could be wrong. I'll figure it out later. But these are a bunch of testimonies which proves that I'm saved and that God is saving me, and there is a journey from 2019 till today. It's like when I'll keep it short. So when I came to Dublin, as a student, I did not have a job for 8 months. So because if you convert the rupee into euro, it's pretty expensive. So I did not have a job for 8 months, and then one day, when I was completely run out of money and I was gonna go homeless for sure, I was going to church before I hit. I was going. Yeah, on August 3rd, I went to church, and I was like, I saw the basket, offering basket passing by. In my heart, I said, Lord, I do not want this basket to pass next Sunday empty. I do not want to go it empty. And that week, I got the first job. And then I was so happy. And I was like, fine, God answered my prayer. So since then, till today, I never allowed the basket. I mean, now I pay online, I do my tithes, but I never missed a tithe. I never did. God's been so gracious to me. There were days I did not have. I was hungry, but there was no food, no milk. I had like some money in my pocket. This is in 2019, not so long ago. And then I was like, if I wanted to drink some milk, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna drink this milk, so I'll save that money. And I ended up eating the expired croissant from Starbucks. One of my roommate bought it because didn't want to throw it away, so they bought the food and then they put it there. And then after eating, and I saw this has been expired for like 3 days, and thank God I'm still alive. Nothing happened, but and then I'm like, so I've been there, and I was like, okay, fine, that's fine. This is life. I mean, but God has been taking care of me, and He provide. That day I prayed, and then I got this job, and yeah, getting a job is kind of normal, but in my circumstances, that was a big thing for me. It's a part-time job. It's not like a fancy tech job which I have right now, but it was a part-time job. So God was faithful there. He provided and He took care of me. And so I'm kind of combining second and third question. And one second. So okay, interest in the Christian walk. What do you feel? Okay, that's the question. So, like I said, and what interests me in this Christian walk is I don't know how to put this in words, but in every part of the journey, God had his fingerprints in my story, in everything. Like I said, from the day I was born, from the day my mom got admitted in the hospital, the day I got saved in the church, the day I got the offer letter, and in between I had a tragic incident as well into 2017. I got stuck in a family drama, and then I wanted to end my life. So one day I drove in the car like pretty fast, like I was driving like 160 kilometers just to, break free. I don't know what happens. I just wanted to drive. So I was driving and driving. So no one was in the car, by the way. No one was in the car, and I was on my own. And then there was this voice from the back seat said, "Stop." And then I literally was driving, and then I looked back, and I'm like, no, there's no one in the car. And it's like, stop. So I put the turn on the indicator, and then I pulled aside. And then I had this deep heat in my body, just taken away. And I'm like, Lord, I said, like, I'm sorry that I took this upon myself, and then I wanted, even though you were there, but I could not see the end. I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel. But then He was there. God was there, right there, but I could not see. Sometimes it's like God meets you in that dead end just to open that door to show you the light. That's one of the interesting parts of my life. Then okay, I need to move forward. That's what I said. Like I do not write it down. I just go. I have a bullet points, and then I need to learn a lot from my wife.
He's so cute, isn't he?
Yeah, so I wrote this down. So interesting thing about Christian walk is you know that there are troubles on this planet, but also there is supernatural help always available. No matter how many times you are knocked down, my 2017 family drama, my 7 loan rejections, my mom, my health, there is always a supernatural power to lift you up, no matter how many times you are knocked down. Knowing that and living in challenge, knowing that and living is challenging enough, but also interesting. Um, so that's my story in a nutshell. I'm sorry, I'm kind of pointing in every direction. So, um, and then I moved to Kilkenny in 2022 and I got married to her, and then I moved to KCC. That's when I realized about grace, and then that's when I got introduced to grace and the concept of grace, which was kind of a brand new thing for me. And then it was like a descaling of all whatever false information I had in my body. And then I met Amanda, and then I started going to the life group with Giovanni. Like she said, like she mentioned, I really appreciate Amanda's teaching. She, in some way, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I don't even understand when Amanda speaks the concept. I had to go home, think about it. Oh, that's what she meant. Oh, this is where she was going. Because she is very quick to pick it up, but I'm not. I'm kind of slow in whatever she picks it. Whenever she speaks, I'm like, it's processing. I'm not quite getting it. So and then when we got a call when about the church plant, that's the first thing which came into my mind. I was like, okay, let me take a back step instead of jumping in. And then we both were deciding if we have to go to this church plant or not. But the things which picked me up, helped me to decide to go to this church is Amanda and her teaching, for sure. And my gifts, I think I'm pretty good with technology. So, and also I'm good with people. I can talk to people, and 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 take a take a video and put it up on the YouTube. Um, I did that in Cork Church, and I know the value of it because many people who are like cannot access church physically can access church virtually. So I've seen so many people getting saved in YouTube ministry, especially during the pandemic era. So I wanted to be there and help Amanda in reaching out to more people beyond the boundaries of 4 walls. So yes, so right now I'm the cameraman in the church. So I want to serve as the cameraman in the church and in the church plant in future as well. So right now, like Giovanni said, my immediate ministry is my family at the moment. So we are excited for the newborn, and I'm also excited for the new church plant as well. As it's gonna grow, I believe that it's going to grow, Amanda. And thank you so much for giving us both of us, this opportunity in taking a part. Thank you very much. Thank you.